Yo, what is up, everybody? Today I just wanted to make a video about, today's Friday, great day trading, but most importantly, I wanted just to make a video today kind of telling you guys that a lot of these people are telling you that you got to trade one way. This is the only way you can do it, right? It's just this way, no way, right? And a long time ago when I first started trading, I tried to do that. I tried to trade with the trend. I tried to do, two losses and I'm done for the day. All these things, right? And I never made money. I was never profitable. I was never able to actually make money trading like that. So when I feel like God was really showing me that's not the way for me to trade, and I started asking God, and that's why it's one of the first things up here is a Proverbs, which a lot of people who are biblical readers know that Proverbs is the book written by Solomon, and it's pretty much a book about how wise Solomon is. And the quote is, or the verse is, how much better to get wisdom than gold. Proverbs 16:16, right? And when I first started trading, all I cared about was the gold. I didn't care about the wisdom, right? I didn't care about chart time. I didn't care about learning a specific strategy, sticking to a specific strategy. All I seen was everybody, and their mother kind of posting these like insane payouts. Oh, I'm making 20 grand a day. I made 5,000 today. I made, 30,000 this week, whatever it was. I was more interested in the gold than I was God's wisdom. And the minute I flipped those things and I prayed and I said, grant me wisdom, because when I read about it and I heard about it, when I was reading the Bible, it was like, wow, everything seems so much clearer now. It seems like my trading went from essentially overnight from being not even a break-even trader. I mean, I was just buying Forex accounts and just blowing them. And it felt like something unlocked. Like, why am I trading like that? Why am I doing this? And I'm going to show you guys as well today how I made 5,500, but I'm just going to show it to you on my charts, and you guys can see all the little lines of take profits, all that jazz. We'll get into that later on. But, you should seek God's wisdom first more than being profitable. And the faster you understand that, I think the better off you'll be, okay? Right? So, like I always say in all my videos, and in my community, it's God first, trading second. And for a long time, I had the opposite way of like, I'll get into another video about that later on, but for a long time I had it flipped. And now that you have to seek the kingdom of heaven first and everything else will be granted onto you, that verse is extremely powerful, especially for people who are trying to trade, trying to get money, trying to start a business, do just life in general. Is when you ask God first and you seek Him, everything else falls. Everything else you will be granted. So I am a living testament to that, and I think my experience is why I started making videos as well, is to show people that you don't need to be like, I lost a lot of money, I lost a lot of time, I lost a lot just in general, but you just keep praying, you keep believing, and everything will work out. You just gotta you got to put all your faith in God's baskets, not, oh, this prop firm will pay me out, or if I put 10 grand in my own thing, or this strategy is it. There's like, how many times I see on YouTube now, even back then, is like 99% accurate sniper strategy. And it's like, no, dude, those things are not real. If they were real, instead of you making $1,000 a day, you should be making $100,000 a day, right? They just don't exist. But they're catchy YouTube titles and whatnot. So let's get into it now. How I do the opposite, and I'm a 7-figure trader. I also trade my own personal account, which is much smaller, obviously. I do prop trade for the most part. And like I said, I found this strategy not by anyone else. This is literally my own. I actually think this is God's strategy that He blessed me with, because without it, I would have still been a losing trader. I wouldn't have been able to make any money. I would have never even been a break-even trader. But through Him and His wisdom, He helped me grow and get better. And every time you feel like, oh man, the strategy stopped working, that's when you have to keep at it and keep praying and keep like trying to fine tune and say, all right, like, you know, it worked for like my strategy now that makes me profitable. It didn't work this year for a couple of weeks, and I remember being like, oh no, do I have to now go into a different time frame, right? But I just kept praying, I kept believing, and eventually everything turned back around. The market is also very cyclical. It'll go up and down and left and right. You know, you just gotta keep sticking it out and keep trading and, you know, keep doing it right. So why I do hyper scalping, and I'll show you guys here right now on the charts. So this is live. This is my personal account. This is live market data. You can kind of see, should keep moving. And if you notice up here, I'm on the 15-second chart. I trade, me personally, I trade the 15-second, the 30-second, the 45, and then usually the 2 to 5 minute, but I don't go anything past like I mean, I've used the 15 before, the 15-minute, but I don't really use it, to be honest. I just don't like it. It seems, in my opinion, it just seems so messy. But you guys can see up here, the 5, the 15, the 30. I actually used to use the 5-second, and then I got away from it because it just, little wicks can flick you in and flick you out so easily. So we're going to go to my actual live trades that I took this morning. And I think okay, yeah, so I took a few down here. And the point of this is I'm actually going to pull this up because I wanted to make sure I'm not rambling like I did in my last video. Like I said, I'm new to this whole, like, I used to do streaming on Twitch and even streaming on YouTube. It's so much easier just doing it live than doing breakdown videos or whatever. But so why I hyper scalp versus holding trades. So, whoops, that's not what I wanted. There you go. So we had news here at 8:30 this morning. Today's news, if I'm not mistaken, was PPI or CPI or PPE. Let's see. Today's news was PCE. That's what it is. All these acronyms. Oh, you guys can't really even see. Okay, so I took a buy here, extending, and then I got out roughly around here, right? This is not a good example of what I'm talking about by doing the opposite, but this is more or less showing you why I hyper scalp versus why I hold a trade. So let's say, for example, I held this trade right here. This was at 8:25 and 30 seconds. If I held this trade, let's say I would have made a potential of 122 points. I don't know if you guys can really read that, but it's 122 points. Not ticks, but points. So that's like 400 and something ticks, which is crazy. The reason I don't like holding trades like this is because the last thing I want to do is, let's say I shorted here. So let's say, which I actually did short this right here, and I got stopped out. If I actually stuck to my own rules and I got out right here, I would have caught 14 points. Instead, this morning, I lost a little bit. I lost about 12 points. Now, I did gain a bunch of points earlier. I gained about 12, so I was okay risking the 12 points, but I thought we might get a full retracement. I had my TP right at this level here. Obviously, I got right here, this doji, like, kind of got wicked out. No problem. It's a part of trading. Then, you know, we go back here. I took a buy here and I got out here, made 8 points back. Right here you can kind of see, I don't know how much I can zoom in for you guys. Okay, that's not helping me out at all. So right here you can see these two black arrow candles, which is a break even, another buy and another break even, another sell, another break even. I took a buy here, I got out here for a profit of about 4 to 5 points. Let's keep going through. And like I said, I made about $5,000 today doing this. So we took a buy here, got out there for like 1 point, break even here, buy here, got completely blown out here. So I lost about 8 points there. Shorted though here, got about 6 points back. So as you can kind of see, why I say I do everything the opposite and why I believe that hyper scalping is more important. For me personally, why I think hyper scalping is more important than holding a trade, right? The last thing I want to do is, and by the way, I would have made probably like $7-8 today if I went here on this sell, excuse me. If I took this short here, you see the black candle on this red arrow, on this red candle, the black arrow, I could have made, right? I could have just went for a quick 13 points. 13 points on my account is good money, right? And then same thing here. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, if you just held all of this, if you just kept holding, sure, you could have made 120 points. But I don't know the high of the market, and I don't know the low of the market. And neither does anybody who's telling you, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to short the 2100s because they think it's a key psychological level. Or if we blow past 1100 here, we should hit 200. There are people who trade like that. I do believe they trade like that. That's fine. That's their strategy. And I'm not here to impose my strategy on you, but I'm just here letting you know that there is no real wrong way of trading, right? My way is my way. I know for a fact that if I showed people the way I trade, they would be like, this is idiotic, right? Like, this doesn't make any sense. But for me, it just works out. It's just the way I trade. I will rather break even consistently, and I mean, I'll lose the commissions, whatever it may be, however much money it is in commissions, but I would rather consistently break even and then hopefully, get a runner. Boom, I'm up 10 points, I'm up 20 points, I'm out, right? Or even there's times where the market, like, the reason I came here, this is the 9:30 opening today. Today's Friday, right? Friday, the December 20th. Just look at this. Let's say I decided at 9:30, I'm seeing this. At 9:29, I'm seeing, wow, a lot of bullish volume. You know what? We should see the market break all-time highs at 9:30 opening. So you take a buy. Let's say you take a buy here, closer to 9:30. You're up 10 points, but you decide, I'm going to hold it. Today's the day where I'm going to hold this trade because I want to be a guy that holds trades. I'm going to put my sells down here in this demand zone or supply zone, whatever you want to call it, right? And then market opens up here, 9:30 exactly on the dot, completely rejects, and it goes all the way down 43 points. I don't know about you, because I trade NQ. I don't trade. I did trade MNQ for a little while when my strategy, I felt like wasn't really pandering out as much as I needed it to. But never. I just don't believe that holding trades and just like, yeah, of course, maybe the guy who decided to be in 40 points of drawdown, right, was like, hey, you know what? I'm in 40 points of drawdown, but look at that. Now I made 90. I made a nice 2-to-1 or 1 to 2.5, whatever you want to call it. It's just not my style. That's how I learned trading when I bought courses and I paid for mentorship and I paid all these things. Everybody just said the trend is your friend, the trend is your friend. And it is to a degree. I'm not going to pretend like the trend is not your friend. As you can see here, I let the market kind of open up a little bit. It's 9:39 and 45 seconds right here. I did take a breakout trade. I took a buy here, indicating by the blue, and I got out here for 2 points. Nothing crazy, right? 2 points. Technically, if I listened to my own rules, because I would have got out at 9 points, but I have, for my ATM strategy, I do have a bracket order for like 20 points. I did pull it down, so I know, I forgot where it was. I might have been looking at like the 2 minute or something like that, but there was a zone where I wanted it to test. And the minute this candle did not break above here on the 15-second, I just got out. Like I said, I made maybe 1-2 points, nothing crazy. Then when I seen this candle forming bearish, I decided to get in for a short. And I got out literally, like I said, for 16 points. This was actually probably the bigger trade that I made. And I think this was the last trade I took, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, okay. So that was the last trade I took. Now, if we go to like higher time frames, of course, you can say whatever. You're like, oh, yeah, could have bought here, and hopefully it rips up. This is why I personally love to hyper scalp. It's actually what's made me profitable, is that instead of taking buys here, because you see the 9:30 here, giant green broke out, boom, a second green, you assume, right, if you're going with the trend, and the trend is bullish, you would assume right here on a higher, this is the 3 minute, it's a 24-point wick, by the way, 24-point wick, and you're like, hey, I gotta catch this. This is the move, it's going, you get FOMO, boom, and then out of nowhere, market drops. Market drops 118 points. I don't know about you, but trading on my personal account, I'm not comfortable being in drawdown 118 points, especially when I'm trading like, 10 contracts or something like that. That could 118 points could essentially wipe you out like 80 grand. I don't actually know the math, but you know what I mean. I'm being exaggerating a little bit, okay? So, I think once again, I know people that are like, oh my gosh, I've talked to people who are traders, and they're like, whoa, you're a maniac. You're trading the 15-second and the 30-second. Like, there's nothing you can do there. Listen, I am more comfortable trading the 30-second and the 15-second because look at these little. If I decided to short this little red candle right here, right? All this green volume, I went, all right, I'm going to short this little 15-second doji. I'm risking maybe 2 points. Opposed to if you do it on the minute chart, you could have to, like we just did on the 3-minute chart, you're risking 24 points. So for me, I'm much more comfortable risking 2 to 3 points on the 15-second chart than I am more on the 5-minute to 10-minute 15 and risking like 50 points. Just not my style. So we're gonna. That's that for that. I don't know how to speak English, but give me a second. Why does this never want to go up? There we go. Okay. So break even and TP, any chance I get, just like I explained to you guys earlier, if I can get out at break even or even take a profit at, if the market just rips up and shoots in my direction and it's 5 points, 10 points, I'm going to take that. I'm more interested, and I know the term now that a lot of people use is like taking base hits. I'm way more interested in taking base hits continuously than I am going for a 200-point move, right? I'm not interested in going for 200 points. I'm interested in getting the scraps of the market because those scraps feed me, feed my family. I can afford living. I can afford, my car, whatever it may be. The scraps are actually what made me a 7-figure trader, what make me a profitable trader, not the, I've got a 10% win rate. I'm going for 1 to 20s and once in a while it hits. I just mentally can't do that. I'm going to make a whole another video on psychology, which is just me ranting about my psychology. So, and then once again, always taking profits, even if it's small amounts. Any profit is better than losing. I have the, I personally think you can't go broke if you are constantly making money, right? There are times where sure I'm up, because if I'm trading my prop firms, if I'm up on the day, sometimes like 4 or 5 grand across all my accounts, I'm like, I'm kind of comfortable. I'm going to risk, like 1,000 and see if I can catch a little bit more or lose it or whatever. There are times where I'm up, like that amount of money and I go back down to like, oh, I only made 1,000 now for the day. Why didn't I just stop at 4,000, right? So I just, like I said, I'm better off. I'm always happier to take a little bit off the table. You don't need the whole buffet, right? You don't need to go to the restaurant and see the buffet and be like, wow, I have every option. I've got it all, right? Opposed to just being like, hey, I'm happy with this little portion, but every single day I know I'm going to get fed. I don't know if that's a good analogy. Probably not, because I don't have a script for this. I'm just talking off the top of my head. Yeah, so that's cool. Why I counter trend trade versus going with the market. So you guys kind of seen before. I'll bring it back up. I personally do not like going with the trend. I will, on some cases I will. If I see like this morning, like I said, 9:37, it just started going green, 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 red, no pullback, green, 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 green. I eventually ended up going like, okay, I'm going to take it here on a quick scalp. I got in. But why I prefer to counter trend trade is because I just feel like there's so much more room to counter trend trade than going with the trend, right? I have taken, and like I said, I've done it before when I first started trading. I have gone with the trend, gotten blown out. With the trend, gotten blown out. With the trend, gotten blown out. When I started counter trend trading, I felt like, there's something to this. And once again, I'm grateful to God that he showed me, he gave me wisdom, and he helped me, really sit here. He didn't let me quit as well. Like, there were so many times my wife was like, I think you got to quit trading. And I was like, yeah, I think so. And I used to be a door dasher, so I was like, all right, I got to go back to door dashing. And as much as I hated that job, and I thank God I don't have to do that job anymore, it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, sorry, my camera looked really fuzzy. It kind of still does. I don't know if it's my camera or not, but anyways, I like counter trend trading for the sole reason that there's so much potential, right? When I see green like this, that by the way, this is 111 points in what is the time frame? 37 to 40, so 3 minutes, like a little bit less than 3 minutes, we moved up 100 points. I don't want to catch, once again, I do not want to catch the whole buffet, the whole enchilada, whatever you want to call it. I just want to catch a little bit, right? Thank God I was able to catch about 16 points, almost 16 and a half points in the matter of 30 seconds. I do not want to, let this thing come against me. I don't want to be like, oh, yep, I caught the top, or yep, I caught the bottom. When you are doing this strategy, and like, once again, I'm going to post in the description my community. It's called Faithfully Trading on School. It is a mentorship. It's a community. It's a group that I teach people how to trade, but more importantly, we teach. I try to get everybody in the Word of God, closer to God, all that, so that we put God first, His wisdom, His kingdom, and everything, and then we put trading second, and really show you the difference that it makes. That's at least what I believe. To each your own, but I know that's the truth. And then, oh yeah, last but not least, geez, this is a 20-minute video of me rambling. Sorry, guys, for whoever's still at this point in the video. No rules, loss limits, or losing trades. So I do not have, when I first started trading, my first mentor, and he's actually a pretty big Instagrammer / day trader. He doesn't trade futures. He actually trades crypto. But when I first found him, a couple of years ago, actually, now it was actually when I first quit trading. I bought a bunch of mentorships. I tried trading, and I just kept blowing like thousands of dollars, and I had to quit and just go back to door dashing, like I said. His strategy was you can take like 2 losses per day, 2 losses, and then you're done. You're not allowed to trade anymore. So I did that, right? I remember I put like $1,000 in an account. I risked like maybe $100-200 a day, and I would do what he said. I would go with the trend. I would do this, yada yada, and I just remember just like losing, and then I would lose my 2 trades and just get off for the day. I would lose my two trades and go do something else, because that was also the advice, which I still think is good advice, is that you need to kind of get away from the charts, because once you get tilted, especially if you're not really good about your psychology, and in the beginning, a lot of people are really bad about psychology, where you're like, come on, get me out, you're screaming, you're panicking. It's just not a healthy environment. And also, I don't have, like I said, so I don't have the 2 trades, 2 losses per whatever rule. The reason I don't is I found that for me personally, and this is different with everybody, but me personally, if I just sit there sometimes and I just wait for the market, right? And I'm just going to pull this back up and I just wait for the market to do its thing. Sometimes I might not catch the move here at 9:30, right? I might have been wrong here at 9:30. And I was actually today wrong here at 9:30. Excuse me. I was actually wrong here at 9:30. I decided to try to short below here. I got out at break even on my prop firm accounts. Then I tried to long this. I was down this morning like 1,500 or something like that on my prop firm accounts. I was down like 1,500, maybe 1,700. And I could have easily, right? I could have very easily said, hey, I'm done, right? I could have been like, you know what? I'm done. I'm not trading anymore. I don't want to blow these accounts. But instead, what I did, I sat there, I let this kind of play out, and that's why I took it on my this account as well, my personal account, as well as I got in a little bit later here. I got in earlier on my prop accounts, but I decided to just sit here and I just scalped. I did what I'm good at, right? I'm good at just scalping. I'm gonna make a full 20-minute video. This is 24 minutes. All right, I gotta cut this off soon. I'm going to make a full video later on about my actual strategy. I teach it in my mentorship. I teach it, I've actually taught one of my really close friends who is still a full-time dasher and whatnot. I've taught him the strategy. He just needs you need to really buckle down and not get afraid of blowing an account, especially prop firm accounts. Like, go on a cheap prop firm. I'm not going to name who, but there's one really cheap futures prop firm that always does like 90% off. The accounts for like a 50K account are like $16. If you can't lose $16, you should not be trading. If you cannot like actually afford to lose 16 or 50 bucks or whatever, you should not be trading. I'm just going to tell you that too. But like I said, it's in my mentorship. I'm going to put a link down below. You guys can join it. It's a monthly subscription on school. Like I said, we praise God every day that we're alive, that we're above the ground. We, I'll do like a morning, like I like to, I'll start doing like a morning, what I read the night before, words of encouragement, words of God's word. And then after that, we'll get into the actual live trading. And I do trade live with them. So you're more than welcome, like I said, to join, continue to learn. And like I said, that's about it. Remember to always give thanks to God, even in the hard times. Always seek his wisdom, his grace, his mercy. And that's it. I'm wrapping up a 25-minute video. I can't believe I rambled this long. Make sure to do all that YouTube stuff, like, comment, whatever you want to do. And I will see you guys whenever I decide to make a new video. Peace.